You know, it always kind of makes me laugh how, like, after every new episode of Riverdale, I get, like, hundreds of tweets of people being like, "Oh my gosh, Alex, you have to check out the latest episode of Riverdale." Well, no worries, everybody, because it's that time once again to try and figure out what even in the heck is going on. So if you recall, last time we ended with Betty trying to burn her house down, right? Her mom had sold the house and was planning on moving to the farm, but you know, Betty just wasn't having it. And of course, it was all like super dramatic, and Betty's mom was like, "Whoa!" But haha, wouldn't you be shocked to learn that the house is actually like totally fine. So remember, kids, never get emotionally involved in anything that happens in Riverdale ever. Anyway, so moving on, we learned that the mysterious buyer who bought Betty's house was actually Jughead's mom.
You sold our house to the Joneses?
Not to me.
I bought it. I made an all-cash offer online.
We're obviously not going to move in.
How much you want to bet? My mom wants to sell it, your mom wants to buy it. It's done.
And you know, moving into your girlfriend's old house, like, I don't know, that just sounds like it could be all kinds of awkward. Hey Betty, so I was looking through your old closet the other day and I found this pillow with a wig and a really wrinkled up picture of Jonathan Taylor Thomas's face taped to it. You have any idea what this might be? But anyway, let's head over and see what Archie's up to right now. So in a previous episode, Archie was attacked by Joaquin's little brother, who turns out had one of those Kill the Red Paladin cards that the Warden and Tallboy had earlier in the show. So after this, Archie, Jughead, and Betty come up with this idea to convince all the other G&G players that they had to try and defeat the Red Paladin that night, or the quest was off. And you know, since we haven't seen Archie's abs yet, of course they just have to do it in an old boxing gym. And then everyone shows up dressed like this, because, I mean, you know, gamers, am I right? A bunch of nerds.
Arch.
Well, guess the word got around.
Anyway, so Archie has to fight like 10 people in a row and, you know, things are looking so good, but ultimately he wins thanks to the power of his glistening, sweaty abs. So, you know, just a typical day in Riverdale. While this is all going on, Reggie and Veronica are having their own, like, relationship problems or whatever that are completely inconsequential to literally everything else in the show, but, you know, you gotta fill time somehow, am I right?
I've got an issue with how I'm being treated by you.
Really?
I want to be more than just your errand boy or pit boss. I want to matter, Ronnie.
You do matter.
Answer me honestly. Would we even be dating if not for the speakeasy?
Well, that's a dumb question. If we weren't in close proximity to each other and therefore had no opportunities to interact, would we even be dating? This is like, you know, when you're having a little snuggle with your, like, girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, and just, like, out of nowhere, they ask you the most random nonsense question. If you didn't know me and you saw me on the street, would you have talked to me? No! Because I'm not a weirdo. If someone tries talking to you randomly on the street, okay, they're either like a stalker or a serial killer or, heaven forbid, someone trying to sell you a mixtape. What was I even talking about? Oh yeah. But anyway, now at this point, Riverdale's just so far off the rails, like nothing makes any sense, which to be fair is not new. I mean, it's just the show now. But at least things couldn't get any worse, right?
We were so tiny, happy and shiny.
Oh, they're singing again. Yeah, so if you remember last year, they did Carrie the Musical, and this year, at the request of no one, we get Heathers. Which brings me back to the same question I keep asking myself like every week. Who exactly is Riverdale for? Because no one who likes Heathers ever asked for this. And everyone who liked this episode is probably too young for Bumble or whatever, so like who is the demo for this show? Anyway, just like last year, I'm not gonna comment on people's singing ability or how they dance or like whatever. I mean, these are just actors doing a one-off, or I guess a two-off, musical episode. Like, sure, that's fine, whatever. Although I do have to say, I'm glad they finally gave Kevin, like, mostly his own number.
Then we got bigger, that was the trigger, like the Huns invading Rome. Welcome to my school, this ain't no high school, this is the Thunderdome.
Because he is far and away the best musical theater singer of the entire cast. But anyway, so this episode in particular is just full of what I like to call Riverdale moments.
Does anyone have a chainsaw? Because what? Duh. You're wearing my signature color. Red existed before you. Not at Riverdale High. Here? I invented red. I am red.
Our love is God. Our love is...
What? You know, I tried to think of a joke for this part, but there's really nothing I could say that would equal the majesty of whatever this is. Also, shout out to the sound effect guy for deciding that every girl's hair should sound like Indiana Jones's whip. Yeah, you know, there's just a whole lot of everything going on in this episode. But anyway, at the very end of the episode, they put on the musical and everything's all la-di-da and whatever. And finally, we get a look at Edgar Evernever.
I knew my dad would like it.
Now, sometime after the musical, the farm is having like an open house where, anyone can come and see what it's all about or whatever. Now, because Betty isn't like the biggest farm fan, you know what I mean? She teams up with Cheryl to find out what's really going on with all these creepy, happy, smiley people. So Cheryl starts taking some kind of interview that they record and I assume try to blackmail you with. But things quickly take a turn when the big man himself just kind of shows up.
This is Cheryl Blossom.
It's nice to meet you, Cheryl. Thank you, honey.
My dad will be finishing your interview now.
Now, after the interview's over, Cheryl goes back to Betty and gives us a little more than we asked for.
Younger than I thought. Also, count him on the hot dads of Riverdale because Mr. Evernever is a yummy snack.
Sometimes Riverdale just kind of slaps you in the face with something like this. You just don't really know what to do with yourself anymore. Anyway, Cheryl goes back to the farm to get more information for Betty, but it's not exactly Edgar's first rodeo. So he catches on pretty quick and takes Cheryl to a mysterious somewhere where her little secret spy microphone thing doesn't work. But then the next day, Cheryl suddenly says she's joining the farm and won't help Betty anymore because of the big reveal we get about what's really going on over there.
It's not about Edgar, Betty. It's about Jason. Edgar took me to a room, closed the door, and inside, there was Jason. I know it sounds crazy, but I saw him, talked to him in the flesh.
And it's not just Cheryl. You see, we also learned that the reason Betty's mom is so obsessed with the farm and all that stuff is that somehow she gets to see her allegedly dead son. Anyway, so that's when Betty decides to go see Edgar herself and finally get some answers, which I'm not really sure why she didn't just do that in the first place and save us an entire episode, but what do I know?
There, tell me. What do you want to know?
Everything. Start from the beginning.
And that's where things are now. So there's only 5 episodes left of the season, and we know Riverdale's been picked up for a season 4, so I imagine this season will probably leave us on a cliffhanger and not really answer any questions, and the answers we do get are just gonna be like the most throwaway explanation you can think of. But at this point, what more could you possibly expect? Hey, guess what? We got a whole bunch of new Riverdale merch in the store right now, you guys. We got some Southside Serpent leather jackets in black and pink, of course. We got these neat little jewelry things with the Serpent logo or Pop Steiner logo. We have a whole bunch of new t-shirts. Again, we got the Serpent logo, we got the Bulldogs logo, we got a whole bunch of other styles, so check that out. We even have some new Serpent backpacks with 10 different styles and colors. Not to mention all of this stuff in the store. And a lot of it's on sale right now, so use my link down below and check it out for yourself. You're not gonna wanna miss this. At the end of these videos, I always say, thank you for watching, but I really do mean it. I know I kind of say it all the time, everyone on YouTube says it all the time, and it's kind of this rote, memorized phrase where it's just oh, thank you for watching, but it still blows my mind that I can make these kind of dumb videos and people actually watch them, as someone who's watched every episode of Riverdale and analyzed every episode of Riverdale, it's just such a, what is even happening? I remember at the end of season 2 when everything was just absolutely ridiculous, and I was thinking, where could they possibly go with this? And then they went even bigger, and everything is even weirder now, and it makes me wonder, so with season 4 on the horizon, what? What could you possibly do? I think it's we've seen throughout previous seasons that kind of sow the seeds of what might happen, right? Polly was going to this farm thing with her kids, and then that turned out to be a whole thing, and then Hiram was doing his thing, and then that turned into a whole big deal or whatever. So one thing in the back of my head as I'm watching these episodes, I'm thinking okay, what are they setting up for? I don't know, it seems like they're just kind of repeating all the same stuff. Hiram had his whole Fizzle Rocks thing, and then that ended, but then now Jughead's mom is back just doing the same thing he did, so it's okay, we're just literally repeating the same story from season 2 and early season 3 again. Why are we doing this? Or even with season 3 now, we're approaching the end of it, right? And the first half or so was all about the Gargoyle King, and then we solved the mystery, but it's still a thing, it's still around, it's not a whole lot's really happening. In the last 6 episodes, there's been 2, maybe 3 main story beats that have actually progressed the story along. Everything else is completely inconsequential, I guess, but Who knows, you know? That's Riverdale for you. Once again, thank you for watching, and really, thank you. If you liked the video, please subscribe. Don't forget to ring that bell so you don't miss any videos from me, because, you know, sometimes YouTube does its thing. Follow me on Twitter. Let me know what was your favorite part of the video, or give me suggestions for movies or TV shows, whatever you want to see, or just say hello. That's great, too. Follow my dog Charlie on Instagram, Charlie Meets Pumpkin. And above all else, everybody have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Lucifer's next, by the way.